Brian Noble, what are your thoughts as Bradford exit the 1895 Cup to York this afternoon?
Disappointment. Disappointed for the fans. Travelled in numbers. You know, the occasion was building up to be a right royal occasion, but unfortunately for us, it didn't transpire that way. So first of all, disappointment for the fans and the players and everybody connected with the club. But full credit to York. You know, they came away with the win. And it's one of those games where, in essence, little things made the difference.
What's the mood like in the dressing room? Obviously, you've had a lot of time in there, Brian. I'm kind of guessing there's a lot of disappointment and hurt.
Yeah, nice reflection. They're hurting. I'm in many respects, I'm glad that they're hurting because it shows they care. They're probably disappointed with the way that we played and some of our reactions to things that went against us. But full credit to York, they found a way to win.
How do you assess Bradford's performance today against your expectations going into the game, Brian?
I think we underperformed. I think they'd tell you they underperformed. I think we were doing a lot of things right, and then we let some things ricochet and bounce, and you can't do that in big games. You know, at the end of the day, we've conceded 28 points, and that's not like us. That's full credit to York as well for exemplifying and magnifying the things that we did wrong.
What do you feel? I know it's straight after the game, Brian.
Yeah.
What do you feel swung that tie in York's favour?
I thought a couple of minutes before half time, 5 minutes before half time, gave them a lot of belief going into the second half. And some of the things that we didn't do at the start of the second half to re-establish what we were doing. I thought it was close tussle in the first half, and I thought we were on top of that close tussle. I think we missed an opportunity to go 8-10-0 up that we probably should have executed, but that's the difference in big games. You have to execute your players, you have to stay on it defensively, and I can only reinforce you can't concede 28 points and expect to win a big game.
In that first half, in that period you've just mentioned, Sam Hallas had a try disallowed.
Yeah. Well, I've looked at it and I don't think it's because of that decision. It doesn't help. I think it's a perfectly good try. However, you know, we can illuminate lots of things that didn't go our way. Things don't go your way in semi-finals, and you have to be better and bigger and respond to that. I think York were.
When you look at that sort of opening half, Brian, you just had a 4-point lead despite what some people might say where you're dominating possession and territory. How much did that ultimately come back and hurt you in the end scheme of things, you know, just having that Luke Hooley try from, you know, half an hour of dominance?
Well, that's credit to the opposition as well. They defended really, really well. We probably didn't finish the end of our sets as well as we would have liked. But as I said, we got loose 5 or 6 minutes before half time, and 2 tries later, and you go in when you have been in control. I thought the second half was chaotic both ways. But again, you'll see that it'll be small things, and I can only reinforce that we haven't defended as well as we would have liked to.
You've mentioned and referenced defence quite a few times.
Yeah.
Is that perhaps highlighted by Liam Harris's score, where he just glides through from 60 metres out unopposed and there's just nobody there?
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? You know, we're better than that. But there'll be a few other bits that will show, and the positives out of this is that whilst we're not going to a trip to Wembley now, we've got another 16 games in the league to try and get it right. It's a disappointing afternoon. There's no way you can dress that up. I'm disappointed. The fans are clearly disappointed. The players are disappointed. But there's only one thing you can do. You've got to bounce back, and you've got to show that probably we're as a better team than we showed today. I thought, give credit to York. They did a lot of little things really, really well.
Bradford this season under you, Brian, have shown resilience and that bounce back ability.
Yeah.
What aspect of Bradford's play today are you proud of?
Well, I'm proud of the players because I don't think the effort was lacking. You know, we were chasing a game at one point and nearly got back there at the right part of the field. So that willingness to keep going was there. And we had a bit of dumbness in there and a bit of dullness that we should have been a whole lot better and a whole lot crisper. But that's the emotion of the occasion when you're back behind you need to manage the game a little bit better than we did towards the back end. We might have got back into it, but we didn't, and that's pretty much down to ourselves as well.
There was a period in that game where I think Paul McShane's in the sin bin, Brian, and it's 22-14, you get a penalty, you decide to run it rather than what you see in the NRL every week, taking it to a one-score game. Was that your decision, or was that from the players not to go for two to potentially make it a one-score possession?
Well, that was a joint decision, and you don't expect to drop the ball and play two, which we did. And so then that decision gets illuminated. The reality was they were down to 12 men, and we still had tried to score after that. So I think it was the decision was right. It was our skill set afterwards that was wrong.
You did name Joe Keys, Eben Skir in the 21-man squad. How close were they to featuring? And would you
probably Eben more than Joe. I think Joe's another week, 2 weeks away. Eben, we're hoping he'll be right for next week. It was touch and go with that one. But there'll be some highlights that it's hard to come by now, in the hurt of defeat. But there'll be some highlights and some good things, and clearly there'll be some things that we didn't do, the things that we wanted to do.
Logan Bayliss left early with what looks like a shoulder injury. How much did that, put added pressure? You're already facing a tough opponent in York, but then, for the majority of the game, you're operating a free-man interchange.
Yeah, we had a couple of busted right throughout the game, but I'm sure they did too. That's not the reason we lost. It's clutching at straws. You can find lots and lots of reasons why we didn't get on. There are a lot of hurt people in there who may not get another chance to play at Wembley, and I think it's accentuated the pain because it is Wembley. The 1895 Cup at other times has been at other venues and doesn't hold the same magnitude. With a couple of players who it would have been nice, but you have to play as a 17, and defensively certainly I don't think we did today.
Do you think, are you feeling, I know it's still raw, early, Brian, but
yeah,
are you feeling that you're going to have to be that father figure for them and be there to pick them up from this?
Yeah, I hope so. I think it's important that with 16 games to go, you can sulk and kick cans around the car park all you want, but we've got to get up and go again. That's the reality of what we're going, because there's only one trophy left now, and we want to be somewhere near in that one.
And you certainly see it from the players looking at their immediate emotions at full time. Some of them absolutely, crestfallen, flat out on the playing surface. Oh
God, yeah. Those are the type of players that you need to put right what we did wrong today. And I don't want to take anything away from York. They were clearly very, very determined to get a result today. They were very direct, and at times we didn't handle that. So there's some lessons for us.